Jav and Draven Trash, I think they're going to have a hard time. So I hope that we see, you know, a new version of Team Heretics, maybe not a completed one, and maybe just a strong attempt in the right direction.
Versus Heretics. Sound of the G2 army loud here in the Berlin studio as we head back to the caster desk. I'm Dracos, that's Cadril. I'm the Katarina. He's the Braum to my Katarina, apparently. Based on the action figures in front of us.
I'll be your shield any day.
Appreciate you.
I'll take a bullet for you. I'd catch a grenade for you.
Wow, Bruno Mars, that's you.
That's me.
Appreciate
But
you.
that's a Malphite mid as well. So Caps is, I looked at his solo queue actually. He's been playing a lot of Malphite mid. I mean, I can tell you the champions he's been playing in solo queue. You wanna hear them? These are his mid lane champs.
Yeah.
Malphite, Jarvan mid,
Okay.
Shyvana mid, Rammus mid,
Wow.
Maokai mid.
This is a great for a segment called Bronze or Challenger on.
I just feel like he looked at his
Caps is the
jungler.
challenger end.
He looked at his jungler and he was like, you know what? I
Those
think
champs are fun.
maybe if I play the mid, we can flex everything. And you can see the second Jace gets picked in 1-2, they ban Sylas on 4-5, and then they just blind Malphite and say, Malphite's going into Jace no matter what. So I think if they picked, for example, Victor, they'd put Gragas mid, you know?
Yep.
Very powerful draft here from G2 in terms of flex. Let's see if they can execute on it because they have a lot of dive. And I think Heretics have a couple tools to work around it. The Gwen is against 3 melee champs that have to commit on the top side. And they have a Xayah as well. So if this game goes really late, I'm a bit worried. But just for a heads up, it looks like Caps in solo queue is building full tank Malphite. None of that AP, but he's got Comet, so I'll hold my breath.
We'll find out. We'll find out what the exact build is going to be here. All right, Berlin, I have a question for you. We're going to play a quiz game. All right, there's exactly one question in this quiz. You can vote by cheering. It's a simple yes, kind of positive, negative sort of question. Do you think Hansama is good at Draven? Anybody? Ah, well, you're right. He's actually insane. He's disgustingly good at this champion. He's arguably the best Draven in the West. And that's a little concerning for me, Cadril, as you heard from the cheers of Berlin. I think that letting this one through makes this game feel pretty hard.
Yeah, I think it was permabanned against him in playoffs, I believe. Never really got his hands on it.
Also, you passed. Good job, Berlin. You passed the quiz.
Yike actually did Red Raptor's Crux. You know what that means? That means level 3 in bot side, and the Draven's actually not being used for dive by looks of it. It's looking like it's used for invade, so Jankos is going to go top. Complete split map, so this Draven is basically having the time of his life down here. It's just a question of can Broken Blade get dove? Can Jankos and Evi set up a cross map to leverage this split map? Because right now they're taking away blue. Evi needs to get these waves on her tower and they need to get a dive going. Caps can TP to cover, but it's going to ruin his lane phase. So who's going to pull the trigger first?
That's a good question. Wave stacking. Broken Blade healing up a little bit here, but it's going to be a tall task to survive the Elise dive. Jarvan now running up, though. Jankos taking his time on this Gromp. And of course, 20% damage reduction.
So Jankos might think that it's a complete split map here, but it's actually, yeah, like you said, Yike's on the way up. He could catch them off guard by covering this dive onto Broken Blade. Can Broken Blade live? He's warded the bush. Does he see him? He sees him now. So Yike needs to get up here quick. He's got about 5 seconds to get there because they're just going to instantly go for it.
Barrel coming out, trying to slow, trying to buy as much time as humanly possible. The cocoon is everything. If the cocoon hits, it's an easy dive, it's an easy follow-up. Broken Blade, excellent body slam to catch out. Jankos now has to reset early. Yike now coming in, flying and dragging. Evi gonna be locked up. First blood going down. No, Jake splitting his focus. He's gonna burn through Jankos. Evi now needs to run.
Flash auto, flash auto.
Flash auto. Hits the W, hits the Golden Angus now on the bottom side of the bot lane. Mickey's now been caught out. Excellent stand aside, stops the engagement coming in. Hansama thirsting for more, trying to get more done. The Ignite ticking, burning, but they will not get the cash in quite yet. And meanwhile, Evi is going to escape 1 for 1 at the end of the day.
Small blunder by Yike. I'd have to see it again, but there's a chance he could have got both of them. He thought that Evi would die to the red buff tick, but he actually doesn't. Lives on very, very low HP there. Dive was good by Heretics, but they missed the cocoon. They had a small wave to work with, but they thought they were in a 2v1. Yike shows up to save the day. A lot of fighting in bot. Mickey and Hans using summoners. Jankos just ran straight bot. Here he is again. No flash, though. See if Mercer can flash knock up.
Oh.
He knows Hans has the E. I'm not sure if he has the mana for it, but he can interrupt it. Explosive early game, as expected, when G2 is one of the teams in the game.
Yeah, and a positive early start in the sense that they were able to grab first blood. Gold still 200 in favor of G2. A lot of that just because of the Draven here on the bottom side. As the Flame comes back, Mercer now going to be in trouble. Are they going to commit? Yeah, the resources, no. Happy to just take the incremental trades here as Ruby stepping forward is going to try to get the exchange on the Caps. Caps forced to flash out to safety. Well played by Ruby, really trying to push this advantage early before there's any armor on the Malphite.
Surprised he didn't go for the flash auto swap form or something, or like E or something like that. Maybe he didn't have mana. Didn't want to risk it. Gets his flash anyway. But Caps is getting closer and closer to that level 6 Gulborg was talking about it on the desk. The amount of dive this team has. Malphite, Jarvan, if they find one target, they're going to get exploded. And Ruby, if he loses his flash, and yes, he could get a kill for it, he's going to sacrifice his lane for the next 5 minutes. So he wants to save it. Cap's building the chain vest already.
And you look at the squishy members on the side of Team Heretics, you know, outside of Evie, it feels like everyone on their team will just die to the base damages from a Jarvan and Malphite for about the entire game, which is a truly terrifying prospect, especially now that you see Caps already pulling out a chain vest. I would assume Sunfire first for Malphite. I won't make any strong definitive statements. Could also be Frozen or Iceborne Gauntlet. Yeah,
we'll see what he builds into. But you're absolutely right. The base damage is what carries champions in the early mid game, and that's why they're strong. But then they fall off later on because their scaling ratios are not that good, and their itemization is focused really heavily on the early stages. So that's why champions like, you know, Gwen only get stronger. But Gragas is pretty strong already. Yikes covering bot here, making sure he can mark Jankos to push him back. Gonna take the fight, repel to the blast cone. Should make sure that the Elise is safe. Just defending this pink ward. Wants to make sure that Hans and Mickey have all the information to work with, so that Mursa and Jack Spectre are just constantly under pressure and scared. See the vision toggle there from the observers. Jankos snuck his way into this bush. They might get a bit of a surprise when he's here.
Aggressive here. Jankos, there's not really any counterplay available. They can try to turn and burn the Jarvan, but they don't have the damage. They don't have the firepower. Now they need to back up. Jankos goes up, but he goes down in the meantime. Big money now in favor of G2 as they get the cash out.
Little bit of overconfidence. Broken Blade. Just gonna... Okay. Just gonna send him off. Do a little bit of damage to Ebby. I think he's going to go for the health plant, so he should heal that back up. But overconfidence from the bot side of Heretics. They thought they could win the 3v3, but double knock-up. Instantly won. Cash out for Hans. 2 kills on this Jarvan. The bot side of the map has fallen apart.
Yeah, and you have really got a feel for the Heretics bottom lane. You know, they struggled a lot when you look at Winter, and the fact that they have to come back from their first game in spring versus arguably, actually, the strongest bottom lane in our league. Now the top side in trouble, however. Heavy trying to heal up as much as possible, but Caps goes in. Unstoppable force.
Jankos can't really do anything here. He's level 5. Ruby's behind him, actually. Maybe they can get the Gragas.
Trying to finish it off. A little bit of poke coming back. Ruby getting slowed down there by the shard. Now trying to run him down. Flash in, knock back with a thundering blow. Broken Blade still alive for now. Now Caps might try to turn the play. Big damage from those W's. That's the 13.4 buffs coming in. Jankos wants to finish the job. Gets the Q out. That's the double for the Spider on the top side. But here comes Yike. The endless parade of teams looking to fight will finally stop.
Really well played there from Jankos. He smites the creep to get the cocoon to stun Caps to get the kill. Good mechanics. Mickey gonna pull the lantern in.
Oh, on the way out! That's clean.
Exhaust. Is it enough? It is the dash distance onto the Xayah. So Heretics trying to fight back. Caps just roaming from mid to top. Ruby's forced to follow him. Easy execution on the Malphite. The Gwen doesn't have flash. Can't dash out of the ult. Yikes coming back here for round 2. Demolish proc for Ebby. Not sure if Broken Blade can get in range there. So the play is going to be called off.
And right now, 1.3k gold lead. Team Heretics keeping this close-ish. Bot lane really the only big problem, though. The rest of the map actually still quite evenly matched. Of course, Malphite only going to get more scary as he gets some items under his belt. Reminder, the armor ratio and the cooldown were buffed on his W. That is the auto attack enhancing ability. So even more powerful with the armor build, and why we're seeing early armor here after the Dorans.
Yeah, and a classic quote-unquote counter to Jace has always been Malphite top, because you can punish him and get a CS lead, but in team fights, the Malphite's always useful. And when the Jace loses flash, it's such easy setup. Malphite presses R, everyone follows up, Jace dies. And that's the problem that Ruby has right now. He has no flash. And Caps, you can see on the left there, his ultimate's coming up in around 10 seconds. So that's going to be a lot of threat that G2 have, let alone the Jarvan EQ and the Cataclysm.
Yeah. I mean, and also just the 50% attack speed slow when you finally do max out that E against a Gwen, a Jace, and a Xayah. It's just crushing. Like, this champion is so frustrating to play against.
Just going to proxy here on bot side. Yikes hovering around. Too scared to walk up here. And you can see Jankos is heading down as quick as he can. No TP on Ebby. Mickey, and he's just standing in front of... They're going to take this fight. Yike can get there quite quickly.
No. Jumping back out. Hansama now stepping in. The root's going to connect. They're going to try to burn through Hansama, but he instantly cleanses that one out. Enough burst damage to take out Yike. Another cash in for the side of G2. Clean mechanical play here. The redive.
No way.
Won't connect.
Caps is coming, actually. Maybe there is a way. Need to get this wave down quickly here, Heretics.
They're not going to flip it. Not going to take the risk. And this is what's so terrifying about Draven and also about the G2 bottom lane, as we saw when Kabe got ahead in one of our previous games. They didn't do a lot to push that lead right away. G2, though, doing much more to get the ball rolling. Ruby
can't play the game, man.
Just getting walked down.
Can you do me a favor? Can you bring up that Hansama graphic again for me?
Yeah.
Just as they look for this bot play.
Is this the one?
We'll see
is
this
this
bot
that
play quickly.
publicly available information that they had access to?
So, I'll hold my breath for a second. I think maybe they can turn this. Look for the kill. Shut down. That's
coming
one.
Through. That's going to be big. Mickey now in trouble. Jack Spectre pulling it back.
Okay.
Gold starting to shift. Still a 2.1k gold lead for the side of Hansama in the individual matchup, but Jack Spectra and Team Heretics firing.
That was the whole gist of it, really. He had a 2,500 gold lead before that fight actually happened individually at 10 minutes. So G2, when you give them these champions, they can play around the sideline so well. Now, a lot of gold back here for Heretics, at least. Herald popped, plating should fall in favor of Jack Spectra, help him get towards that mythic as quickly as possible as Hans picks up the Kraken Slayer already.
And a BF sword.
And
never mind, he got
Famsef
Famsef instead.
Gonna play a little bit safe, doesn't want to go too crazy. And you can see the power of the Malphite Gragas Jarvan in the early to mid game when the Jace has no flash. I feel like G2 have just found such a good answer to Jace Flex already.
And credit to Jankos for getting a lot of these kills back and punishing some of the over-aggression from the G2 lineup. You know, good to see him have this performance on the Elise, which good himself an individual 1k gold lead. But we'll take a look back at this play.
Nice play by Jankos. Flash Cocoon lands it onto Hans. Lantern's there, but they managed to get enough damage down that he's disengaged from the fight and Yikes committed. So he tries to flash out. Use the smite on the Spiderling. Maybe he could have used it on the champion perhaps, but it doesn't matter. He's dead. Shut down over the Jankos. Kill over onto Mickey for Jack. So they at least can fight back a little bit on this bot side. No mythic though for the Saya, so I think G2 are just going to keep rinse and repeating down here. Look for these Drakes, start looking for bot tier 1.
Yeah, really difficult for Team Heretics to find too many angles or opportunities here, but again, good on Jankos to find that one, recognizing that the cleanse was gone after the previous dive from G2, so punishing that lack of summoner spell. Hansama's flash back up and available though makes it feel pretty impossible for them to make any plays on the bottom side. May have to look somewhere else. Jace now matching up against the Gragas on the top side of the map. Still can maybe get some work done there.
And I will say props to Jankos. We're seeing the wealth of experience he has here. Everyone can die on Heretics. They can go top, they can go mid, they can go bot, but Jankos is actually matching every single play and getting things back for Heretics. 100% kill participation, 4 kills out of the 5 right now, and he's coming bot. He knows exactly where Yike will be. He's matching G2's plays really well, and he's keeping Heretics in this game.
Ooh, body slam. Just a little cancel there. Knock back, keeping it going. Trying to body walk, Thundering Blow. Is going to come out. Naki broke play arc into the tower, just walking him down and belly bomb. This man was not ready. The amount of thick boys just ruining his day, too damn high.
And he's got the take notes. That was obviously from MSI last year, so I think he knows he's locked MSI. Get a nice MSI emoji ready for when they arrive in London in a couple months' time. Plates over to him, killed. Rod of Ages. Gragas is just so tanky and will scale quite well with the tier 2.
And adaptation coming in here from Ruby, opting for the Gore Drinker. And a lot of these scrappier matchups, of course, Omnivamp is not on the vast majority of items anymore. Gore Drinker, one of the few that was not hit by those fighter itemization changes, so maybe hoping that Sustain will save him in some of these 1v1s.
Jankos is looking for anything, really. Covers bot for a second, tops down, runs towards mid, no push, trying to help out there. He's up a level, just barely, and he's still up at 1.1k gold. And so you're going to use the ult to cancel bases. That's going to help out the tempo a lot. Jack Spectra wants to base there and pick up his mythic. That's going to be a lot of gold over to G2. Jack's now debating, should I stay? Am I going to lose my tower now just because you've stopped my base?
I mean, they have so much kill pressure. That's what's terrifying, right? If you make a single mistake when you do stay, it could all be over. Caps are going to be forced to ult out to safety. Holding onto it for now as Yike is on the way in. Unstoppable Force, where's it going to go? Cocoon not quite connecting. They're going up, but he's instantly going to try to turn and burn. Broken Blade now on the way in, and G2 firing back. Evie healing up, though. Still standing for now, trying desperately to stay alive, but it will not be enough. A double for Broken Blade in the mid lane.
Broken Blade is just everywhere, isn't he? He kills Ruby in top, pushes in, moves towards mid, and then counter ganks Jankos' play onto Caps. Held the ult for so long, didn't want to disengage, knew the limits of the Cocoon and that he wouldn't get hit. Heretics are answering with some plates, but again, Broken Blade, really good roams. Yikes now again towards this bot side.
Oh.
Jack still not base for that mythic. Not even going to be able to lane here.
Flag and drag. Mercer should be able to dash to safety. Flayed. But will still get out in time. Broken Blade trying to break down mid lane. Plates are about to fall off. I don't think he'll get another one. Can G2 break this tower? They will before the 14-minute mark, so that much extra money into their back pocket. Still a 2k gold lead individually held by Hansama, but now Ruby, because of that pressure in the side lane, up to 1k gold lead for himself.
First tower, yeah, over to Ruby. Has the Gore Drinker as well. It's really good into these short-range champions. The Jace can just go into hammer form, pop the Gore Drinker, get the healing. See how effective it is later on. But now I think is where the map gets messy because the laning phase is basically over. Hans is going to go towards mid, Caps is top, Broken Blade's going to leave this lane soon after this wave. And this is where the comms will get a little bit hectic for Heretics because so much engage on G2, so many ultimates that can just go forwards means one misstep and you're going to get caught out.
And this is where G2 very often are at their best, are these mid games, where they'll make decisions to drop waves, to overstack on a side lane, to make these incredible plays that can snowball leads. And credit to Heretics for keeping it close thus far, but now is really where they are going to start to get challenged. Jankos knows this mid game. He was a part of it for years, but for younger players, it can be so overwhelming to play against a team like G2 in the mid game.
He's read the early game really well, and he's actually trying to cross-map bot here, trying to look for a dive onto Broken Blade, but he was spotted on a ward, so now G2 are going to go towards top side. Bit of a split map going on here, but G2 are the winners because they're they're getting a Herald for this. This is the net positive. We'll see if they can even get this bot tower. Looks like Jankos has abandoned it. They want to contest the top fight. Broken Blade has no TP, so Jankos identifies, instead of diving bot and going even, let's try to force a fight up here with a numbers advantage, or at least deny this, and not go down on gold.
The struggle here, though, is in the meantime, Caps is just auto-attacking top. So they are losing something for coming for this contest. It's very important that they can get the Herald, but they're starting it so late now that Caps can come down if he wants to, and G2 could contest. That said, Broken Blade on the bottom side, no TP. Doesn't look like they're going to go for it. Maybe just willing to give this one up.
Yeah. They're going to lose a tower for a Herald, but that should net them a tower as well. Hook. Gonna go wide. Jack Spectre gonna try to step up here, but Hans does way too much damage for him to contest that. Mercer threatening some kind of engage, trying to get that mid-wave in. Someone needs to go towards bot lane and catch that, so Heretics won't lose any gold on these side lanes in terms of creeps. And they just need to make sure that this Herald gets them a tower. They can also use it for this next dragon spawning in 30 seconds to see if they can get a little bit of push in a lane to stop Hans from controlling the entire map.
Difficult. Find these angles for Team Heretics. Hansama now stepping forward. Jack Spectre alone. Just not a threat. The Vamp Scepter alone, more than enough lifesteal to help him win out. Hansama unconcerned.
He's just gonna go for it? Okay, he's just gonna... okay. He's gonna stand in front of him, take the tower. Next mid-wave, Dragon spawning has the Vamp Scepter, so he can just heal straight up from the damage he took.
54 per auto? Draven is so obnoxious.
Yeah, it is so much damage, isn't it?
Yeah.
See what Heretics do about this Dragon. Looks like they're gonna give it, and Jankos is now hovering top. A lot of macro going on here. It's basically G2 versus Jankos on this map. Ebby's going to be the one that's going to do the most work in fights, and Jack Spectre just kind of has to sit there and scale.
And I think the big thing is the counter-engage or the re-engage from the side of Team Heretics will be strong. It's kind of a shotgun from the side of G2. Their only sustained damage is really Broken Blade, so if they blow their combo and some of their skills go wide, maybe there's an angle in the longer fight with champions like the Jace and the Gwen to win out. But again, as long as Hansama is in the fight, it feels pretty impossible to win any kind of 5v5.
Yeah, Heretics just looking for some kind of vision. Surprised that the gold is this close. You know, when I saw the explosive early game from G2 with both sides going in their favor, normally in games like that, G2 just snowballed it exponentially into a 5, 6, 7,000 gold lead by 20 minutes. So, yeah, fights will be slightly even. The only worry I have is I'm not sure how much Jace can do in these fights. The poke's not that useful because, I mean, you're not going to get poke against hard engage. They're just going to go in.
Well, he's also not the lethality build,
yeah.
right? He's got some decent flat AD, but doesn't have lethality yet, doesn't have Muramana completed.
I think this whole comp is just to shut down Jace, so
yeah.
See what he can do. I mean, he can try to play cleanup duty and hammer form and buy time for the Xayah, but again, Jack needs more items. Jack is the sustained DPS next to Ebby.
And again, while G2 are clearly winning out right now, have a 3k gold lead, want to give credit to Jankos as he'll now leap out to safety. Credit to Ruby as well, because while his scoreline is pretty lackluster, you know, the pressure he put down on the side was able to help him build this individual gold lead and has looked pretty solid in some of these exchanges. Mercer now in trouble.
Caps is just playing Splinter Cell. He knows there's a Gwen here somewhere. He's been hiding in this bush. He's called Broken Blade to TP in, but his TP got cancelled.
Run him down. Does Caps want to stick on this play? It looks like he's decided he no longer wants to fight this as Broken Blade is now leaping out of safety. Excellent TP cancel from the side of Team Heretics. Now Yike on the way in. They're going to try to turn and burn. Do they have enough burst to burst through the Gwen? Yes, they certainly do. Mickey X now trying to leap out to safety. Hansama charmed up. They're trying to body block the Lantern. Hansama running out to safety. Now looking for the re-engage. So many blinking health bars. Broken Blade knocked back by the thundering blow. Jack Spectre locked up. Jack Spectre ignited. Trying desperately to get out to safety. Can flash to safety. Has not pulled the feathers back, and the play will stop for a moment as they disengage.
Don't think G2 are going to force this tower down, are they? Looks like they are. TPs are available for Team Heretics in 10 seconds. Maybe biting off a little bit more they can chew here.
Ruby again stepping forward, the flag up, the drag back out to safety. Hansama going to take the Lantern this time around, or waiting. Hansama full confidence there.
Oh my god, he's just playing in Heretics' face. Playing with confidence, knowing that he can dodge skill shots, has a Lantern right behind him, and they're going to back off as Ebby respawns with the TP ready. G2 are looking for an individual play towards top. Got cut short by Heretics. Jankos will find Caps, who has flash. Might have to flash the Cocoon, but I'm not sure if he's in range.
Ooh, just out of range. Caps walking away there.
Muramana complete for Ruby. Struggling on experience. They still have this Herald. It's about to expire. You can see Jankos needs to put this Herald down somewhere.
They don't have a point of pressure.
Has to go mid, doesn't it? Just trying to get as much damage on this tower as possible. It's going to go with Mercer here. Place it, sweep out that ward, and now this is kind of like the call to mid lane. But I don't really think Heretics can pull that card. There's nothing really to pressure. I think G2 can just kill this Herald.
There's nothing to do with this time. There are no objectives up and available, and the Herald's not going to hit the tower, so all that effort ultimately results in the local gold for the Herald and 25 extra gold for Hansama here. Definitely not ideal, and credit to G2 for forcing so many plays in succession that there wasn't a pressure point for Team Heretics, but that is brutal.
There's a few must-bans in some teams, you know.
Yeah.
Hansama Draven,
Well, and this
Yushi
is
Caitlyn.
when G2 are a terrifying team or a terrifying organization. Oftentimes it has just been that it's kind of pick your poison on what you let get through.
Here we
They
go.
picked Draven, and they're getting poisoned now. As Hansama just cutting through in terms of overall damage. That's the knock.
God.
Easy combo. Jack Spectre on the backside, untouched for now. Jack Spectre desperate to get anything back, but Caps is just so beefy. Now looking for the 1v1 versus here goes Hansama's killed one carry.
Is it a penta?
He wants to kill it.
Is it a penta? Is it a penta?
Oh, the penta for Hansama.
5 kills over to the Draven. Caps right behind him. Mickey with the confidence. Hans cleans up. He's the single carry in this entire comp. And he does his job perfectly.
5K individual gold lead, 5 cash-ins back to back to back to back to back. And now a Baron to follow up as Broken Blade pushes in. It was close until it wasn't, and it is no longer close.
So you can see the idea from Heretics here. G2 know that they can commit to this play because all of G2 are collapsing onto the Elise. It looks a bit dicey to begin with because Mercer can get in range, but he doesn't actually get the W onto Hans. He gets away. Caps massive ultimate, lands onto 2 on top of the Draven ult. I don't even know how much gold Hansama just got from that. It was over 1,000, and then Ruby flashes away, flash to follow. And I think here, just look at Jankos. I think Caps realizes he's going to get a penta about now, and he just stops hitting him. He's like, wait, this could be a penta. Hands it over to him.
The awkward thumbs up. Great emote.
It's a nice way to come back into the next split after winning its first game.
Kind of a reminder. Caps having a good time. G2 having a good time.
G2 happy with that.
And awesome that, you know, even after you've won a split, you can still take joy in the regular season, still have these fun moments, and credit to them. Wow,
That's
13,
a 5.3k gold
Thank
lead.
you, production, for highlighting that.
Just look at the AD carry items. It's
Bit of a diffy in the biffy.
yeah, a bit of a diffy in the biffy. 5.5k.
Wow. Old meme.
Old meme. Special number here in Esports. Drake's up. They're gonna push in mid, easily secure that dragon, and the game's is basically as good as over. All they have to do here is just engage and protect Hans.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think this might be another split of Draven, Ben. What do you reckon?
I think so. I haven't seen the Cho'Gath from Caps yet, but I have to imagine. Or you know, that
Cho'Gath from Hans.
Or the Cho'Gath. Oh, wow. Yeah. But I think the Draven might be better.
Yeah, might just be. It's always funny when you look at the bans against G2. You know,
Yep.
the bans last game, what were they? This game, sorry,
Yep.
they were what? Kled,
Kled,
Annie,
Cho'Gath,
Heimerdinger, Cho'Gath.
Heimerdinger.
You know, the meta's evolving into such wacky champions that it's just G2's playground, really, isn't it? So Broken Blade's matching Ebby here. He has TP, but Ebby doesn't.
It's the second
he's
time
trying to
today
slow
we've
him
seen
down.
one team be wildly ahead and just spend their time chasing the enemy top laner.
Yeah,
Got the split screen.
Cap's actually quite low HP. Might have to base and TP here if they want to keep pressuring, but looks like Yikes recalling too. No, looks like Cap's going to base and TP in if they want to force more. There he is.
Team Heretics.
Beefy boy.
Bounty hunting right now.
Oh, there he goes.
There he goes. Sleeps in. Hansama's going to kill everybody. He's legendary, unsurprisingly now at this point in the game. Just absolutely slaughtering. Oh, knockback in. They're just going to try to keep it going.
They're playing ping pong with them.
Mercer finally going to find that engage. Just into the waiting arms of Hansama.
Are they going to dive the fountain? I feel like that'll be a G2 thing to do here.
Oh, wow. He maybe could. Big damage.
Oh, yeah. Here they come. Dive the fountain. G2 classic.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Again, early game, some credit to the side of Heretics, but this has been the G2 show
Pentakill for Jack.
for a long time.
It never works, guys. Why do they keep doing it?
That is a dominant start. Credit to G2. You know, commanding game. Showed us some new things in terms of the draft and showed us some old
I see